Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Can you open the file we saved last time? Just click on file and open recent or something like that.
Yeah. I was trying to give you access. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I'm trying to give you access. Just a moment. Can't see the. Can you? I think last time you had requested access, and then I think I was able to give it to you.
Yes.
Can you request access? I'll give the access then. I think you have access now, right? No.
I don't think I have. Actually, no, I don't. Let me request again.
I'm making you a host now. Can you try now? I think now you can.
I don't see a screen.
I have put a request.
Yeah, you need to share your screen. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to share your screen.
So the screen is now shared. And can you request access?
I requested.
Okay, I'm just waiting. Oh, okay, I got it.
Okay.
So we tried to set up the IP address initially, right? What IP address?
Correct.
So what are we trying to do here?
So I'm just going to check. I have configured IP addresses to these PCs.
Sorry,
I'm going to
sorry. Can you come again? I didn't hear.
one second. Why I'm not able to find this? Mhm. Can you click on this pad stuff and then place the cursor here? It's just blinking. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Ah. Sounds good. Yeah.
Here also, right? One more.
No, we do one. Sorry. I'm sure what it's here dot. Two dot one. Yeah.
So we assign these IP addresses to them initially?
Just now I sent, right?
Okay.
Again, can you? I don't know. It's
Okay. Ah, yeah, right.
93. Not.
And then last one.
No. VLAN 20.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
This kind. Okay. Can you paste that box here?
Okay. Over here?
No, just below that IP address.
Okay. Here.
Here. Here.
Okay.
PC2.
Got it. PC2. Okay.
Right?
Same here as well, right? All the way.
Same here.
What should I write?
Yeah.
VLAN?
VLAN 20.
Okay. This is VLAN 20 and this one?
VLAN 10.
VLAN 10. Okay.
Okay. So now this is the setup. Okay. You have 4 PCs.
Yeah.
And 2 PCs belong to one of the VLANs. Right? So that they can communicate each other. Right? So now the problem is they are not connected to the same switch. Correct. So they have to go across the switch to connect its peer, right? So VLAN 10 PC0, the switch 1 has to connect to its peer 192.168.1.2 in the second switch. Correct. So they are all in the same VLAN. So let me verify the VLAN configuration. So VLAN brief. Right. So, oh, sorry, I think I have given VLAN 20 and 30. It's not 10 and 20. It's 20 and 30.
Okay. So I think this one, first one is 20, I think, right?
Yeah, 20.
And this one is also VLAN 20.
Correct.
This is VLAN 30. This one is VLAN 30 again. Okay.
Okay. So, just to enable the IP, right? So, just like how we made them belong to same VLAN, so we have also made them belong to same subnet using the slash 24 network. Right? 192.168.1.1 says identify. So, logically, we have everything ready so that to call them as like they belong to the same group, right? Same subnet, same domain, same VLAN. But only differentiation is they belong to different switch. So first let's check the ping man form. In 192.168.1.2. I am in 1.1 PC, right?
Yeah.
So the ping should work for 1.2. Okay, it's a failure. Okay. So now Let's do the check from second switch. I don't want to do this from 1.2. I'll do this from 2.2 to 2.1. So ping 192.168.2.1. So we took a sample of each PC from each of these VLANs and tried to ping one of their peers. So it's not working. We confirm this. Okay. So now let's go to switch and go to this port. So I'll do this brief. Right? FA0/1. So we cannot assign this to VLAN 10. So if you make a VLAN 10, right? If you make this port as an access port, then assign VLAN 10, the ping to VLAN, sorry, I'm still saying VLAN 10, VLAN 20. So if you make this port as an access port and assign VLAN 20, the communication between VLAN 2 will come out, but not the communication between VLAN 30. It has to be a global port that allows multiple VLANs. FA0/1. 150 interface FA0/1. Right, switch port. Switch port trunk. Set VLAN cap. Switch port. Nice gave trunk. Switch port. No. That I'm not sure if this packet tracer supports this. Encapsulation, switch port trunk. There is no V keyword. Switch port trunk. It says allowed VLAN only. Let me first set this port as trunk port. Switch port mode trunk. Okay. Switch port trunk. Oh, set allowed VLAN. Okay. Let's say VLAN. $20, $30. Okay. Let me go to the second switch and do the same thing. Switch 150. Switch port. Interface FA0/1. Switch port mode trunk.
So what are we
Switch
trying to
port.
do? Just to follow up what you're doing.
So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make this port to behave as a trunk port. Which will allow
Access trunk port or the other one?
no, access port is meant for end host.
Okay.
Right, if you make the port on the switch as an access port, then it means you are connecting to end host machines.
Okay.
And when you're trying to make a port as a trunk port, then it means you are connecting to another switch.
Okay.
Why you make that port as a trunk port when you connect to another switch? To allow multiple VLANs, because trunk port is capable of allowing multiple VLANs through it, and not the access port. An access port will allow only one VLAN. right? For example, if you just see switchport trunk allowed VLAN 20 and 30. See, I made it allow VLAN 20 and 30.
Yes.
Okay, so there is one catch. Okay, I'll just give you an example. So one of my student, okay, it's like 2 years before. Similarly, he had me for. He joined this job as a fresher. I mean, he had experience with 5 years of experience with other company, but not extensively on the configuration side, like mostly on monitoring. Okay, so now this new job needs him to configure and deploy things and troubleshoot things, at random times. And sometimes he's been alone on shifts. So that time, so he had me as a freelance.
Okay.
A freelance kind of assistance kind of. Right? So whenever he gets an issue and he's not able to understand what to do next, and what kind of steps to be, what kind of steps he can recover, right? So like that, he was given a simple task, like recent. It was just like 1 month into the job. So what he did is, there were like 50 plus VLANs were already added in the trunk. Okay. So instead of using this word add VLAN, see it says add VLANs to the current list, right? So switchport trunk add, instead of add word, he just used this allow word because he was given a task to add two new VLANs, like some camera related VLANs. So he wanted to add it. So he just clicked add. Sorry, he just clicked used allowed keyword and added the two new VLANs similarly like this.
Okay.
What it did is it removed the entire list of VLANs which were allowed on this trunk port and added only these two VLANs to the trunk port. So it created a big outage. So then he didn't save this configuration. I told you about startup to running, right?
Yeah.
Running to start. So it was just lying in the running config mode, right? So he hasn't saved it to the disk. So that it means the recent configuration he did is not going to survive a restart or reboot of the machine. So he's going. So then he didn't have access to this machine because he removed the VLANs, right? So the remote access also through one of the VLANs that got removed. He was accessing the switch, right? So that access was also provided through one of the VLANs that got recently removed. So he had no remote access. So he just walked into the data center, found that switch, and rebooted the switch. So the reboot removed the new configuration and it brought back the old configuration. So
Okay.
you need to be very clear with what you need to do. Whether you are going to add the new VLANs to the existing VLANs, or you're just completely wipe out the existing VLANs and add a new VLANs to them.
Okay. Got it.
And yeah, so I added this VLAN 20 and 30. I need to do the same thing. So switch port mode one, switch port, trunk, allowed VLANs. Load VLAN 20. So now let's check. So there is one command, okay, switch port trunk dot one view encapsulation. So what kind of encapsulation that you want to allow in this trunk so that it can uses the technique to add VLANs to the trunk port. Like when the traffic comes in, how it's going to tag that VLAN, right? So that's because there were like two standards, 802.1q, and there was one ISL. So it was created by the Cisco for its proprietary functions. So 802.1q is like an open standard technique. So ISL was Cisco's proprietary technique. So that's the reason you have to explicitly mention which technique are you going to follow for encapsulation. But I don't see this option to configure that command here. So by default, it should take that encapsulation as a default encapsulation. So let's check this. If the ping works, then the encapsulation has been picked correctly. See, now it works. So the encapsulation is directly assumed by the switch that it's going to use 802.1q encapsulation.
What is encapsulation here, like, exactly?
I told you, right? One second. Is there a way that I can annotate?
Encapsulation. Okay. So encapsulation, we say from application layer, when we are adding more data from moving from down
No, no,
layer
no,
to
no,
up
no.
layer. Are you talking about that or something else?
No, no, no. See, awesome. See, this belongs to VLAN 10, right?
Correct.
So this PC doesn't know it belongs to VLAN 10 because you don't do any VLAN configuration here.
Yeah,
You understand?
we do it port wise.
Yeah. So when the traffic comes here, it it says the switch says you belong to VLAN 10.
Correct. Correct.
Here in this
Correct.
port. But trunk port allows multiple VLAN 20, 30, correct? Current as per the current configuration. Correct. So the this port, right? When the traffic goes out of this port, which VLAN would you tag?
Sorry, when the traffic goes out, which VLAN would you track?
Tag. So, for example, if you're going, yeah. So let's just give you a layman example. Okay, when you're going out of India, right? So what makes you identify that you are an Indian? The passport. Right.
Yes.
So it is like a tag, correct?
Okay.
So nobody is going to color you. Nobody is going to say, okay, based on your dress and your hairstyle, you are an Indian, right? Nothing going to identify.
Correct.
Unless you have a passport. Correct. Then, similarly, when you are going to a trunk where you find global pool of traffic, multiple VLAN traffic, you have to identify yourself. You are coming from this specific VLAN. Correct.
Yes.
So similarly, in India, we have External Affairs Ministry that gives you password, right? Similarly, in the switch mode, in the switch, we have a port called trunk port. In the trunk port, you have .1q encapsulation technique, right? That tags VLAN 20 to any traffic coming from PC0 and going out on this trunk.
Okay.
So that is what encapsulation here in the trunk. When we are talking about trunk traffic, right? So encapsulation means tagging its own VLAN when it goes out of the trunk port to another switch.
Got it.
Okay. Similarly, when the traffic comes from VLAN 30 here and it goes out across this link, you will add VLAN 30 as a 802.1q, right? So on this switch port, any traffic comes, it's by default assumes VLAN 20. There is no need of tagging because there is only one VLAN and the switch directly says you belong to VLAN 20. But when you go across a link that has global pool of VLANs, like multiple VLAN traffic, you have to identify. Some tagging should be there on your back so that when you reach this point, people identify that you belong to VLAN 20 and forward the traffic specifically on this port, right? As long as you have the tagging, you will be sent out to the right destination. If you do not have the tagging, then it's going to use native VLAN.
Yes.
Right? Native VLAN is one. So when you do not have any tagging and you have a port which does not belong to any VLAN, then the traffic going across the trunk will be tagged with VLAN 1. Okay. So that's what I did. So initially, before I configured switch port mode trunk, you see this command, right? Switch port mode trunk. And the switch port mode VLAN 30. So we were not able to, before this, we were not able to communicate across the switches to its peer. But after I configure this command on both the ends, I'm able to establish the connectivity. So this is how you establish connectivity between same VLANs across two switches. If these two PCs, belonging to VLAN 20 and 20 are in the same switch, you don't need to do this trunk configuration. Clear, right?
Yeah. If they are in this case, I think it's going to different trunks.
It's going to different switches.
Switches, yeah.
So when you have same VLAN on two different switches, then to establish communication between these two same VLAN, right? Between the same VLAN, two different PCs, two different switches, then you need a trunk.
Yes.
Okay. And there is one technique called inter-VLAN. So this is intra, right? VLAN 20 to VLAN 20 across two switches. This is intra-VLAN communication. You can say something like that. There is one more technique called inter-VLAN communication that allows host in VLAN 20 to communicate with VLAN 30.
Okay.
Although they are connected. So you need a router for that. Although they are connected in the same switch, so you cannot just establish the connectivity. You need a router, something like this.
Okay.
So the traffic goes to the router and then comes back to the switch and then to the PC1. So it will go like this. Yeah. The traffic goes like this to the router and then comes back via same link and then goes like this. Okay, this is called inter-VLAN. Okay, so we will see that when we go to the routing part, but for now it's fine. But in Cisco Packet Tracer, this lab right has never worked. So it's just like some limitation. We can try this again, like in case there's any update to test this in the Cisco Packet Tracer in the recent software version. But I have taken so many classes, but this lab alone has never worked. Although it is like basic CCNA stuff, still it hasn't worked so far.
Okay. Like the inter VLAN, right? They're connecting
Correct,
to
intra-VLAN.
Okay.
So intra-VLAN, this one we have just demonstrated in the lab. So, let's just annotate. Stop. Yeah, inter-VLAN we have just seen. Sorry, intra-VLAN, but inter-VLAN we will see that in the routing. That will come into routing part. Since we are introducing the router, so that will come in the routing section.
Okay.
Okay, so there is one catch. Okay, in the access port, I told you you cannot configure more than one VLAN, right?
Yes.
But there is one exception. You can still configure more than one VLAN, but that VLAN belongs to voice VLAN. Voice VLAN in the sense if you have IP phone, right?
Okay.
Then you put that IP phone into some other VLAN.
You said IP4 or IP phone?
IP phone, IP phone.
Okay.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see if there is any specific configuration for VLAN. So let's say conf T and VLAN 50. Let's say name voice. Okay. Show VLAN brief. What is this?
Oh, it says running out of time, I think.
Oh, 40 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we didn't even think 30 minutes. They have made it to 30 minutes, I guess. Earlier it was like
Okay.
45 minutes. Now it's
Can you
okay. Let's connect with the.
Can you create a meeting on your side? I'll join.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
How long does it say? Like 10 minutes more, or how is it? Do you
It
see a
says
timing?
10 minutes more.
Okay. It's just.
Let me create again from my end. I can do it again.
No, you can't do this for another 13 minutes, I guess.
Yes. I think you'll have to create. You can share the link in the chat. We can disconnect this
Yeah.
and I'll create one.
Any say no. Yes. Say cancel.
Yeah, back.
You can control it, so I can control.
Okay. So we were looking at exactly what?
I was trying to create a voice VLAN. So I told you in access port we cannot create more than one VLAN, right?
Correct.
Config T interface FA0/1 switch port access. One second. Switch port voice VLAN 50. Okay. Show configuration. Show running config, not configuration. Show running config. Right. Section interface. See, if you see this command, right, I am asking the switch to show me the running configuration, particularly for a specific section called interface. I want all the interface related configuration. I don't want anything else, right?
Okay.
So I'm talking. I think I configured this on a switch FA0/1. Sorry, I shouldn't have done this there. Interface FA0/1. No, switch port. This is how you remove the configuration. Switch port voice VLAN 50. Okay. So I really wanted to configure this on interface FA0/2. Interface 0/2 and add it along with VLAN 20 switch port voice VLAN 50. Okay. So now let's check this configuration. So running on fixation buttons. See, this FA02 has two VLANs now. So one is VLAN 20 and VLAN 50. So if you go and say, so this is used for data. Whenever you connect normal data, machine printers, PCs, right? But when you connect IP phone, then it has to be voice VLAN. So it has to exactly tell you are connecting a voice device, IP network, voice over IP.
Okay.
Okay. So the connectivity would be like they won't directly connect to the switch in most of the cases, right? They'll connect through the PC. I'll show you this.
Yes.
I'll show you. Yeah, I'll send you the PPT. Okay, that PPT will have the diagrammatic representation of how this connectivity works, basically. Okay, so this is just about VLAN configuration, trunk configuration. You have any doubt? You need to practice this at your own in the interval we have, right? Saturday, Sundays.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Just
you won't get doubts.
Yeah, just a note on this voice VLAN. So so you're saying in order to configure IP phones, they will be configured only on the access port, or they can also be configured on the trunk port as well.
Voice VLAN, see, voice VLAN can be configured on trunk port as well, because access port, trunk port are different than voice VLAN, right?
Okay.
So earlier in the configuration I showed you, right? It allowed, where is this? See, switch port mode trunk, and then it allowed switch port voice VLAN 50, this command as well, right? So this switch, so if you had to be access VLAN, right? Then you have to mention switch port access VLAN and then switch port access VLAN 20, 30, whatever, right? So here I made the port as trunk port, but still allowed voice VLAN.
Okay.
And here, if you come here, I still maintain this port as an access port, switch port mode access, and then I allowed voice VLAN 50.
Okay.
Okay. So why is the differentiation? You know about QoS? Have you heard about the word QoS?
Quality analyst? Are you talking about that role or?
No, 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 not the role. In the networking concepts, quality of service.
Okay. No, no.
The thing, what is the purpose of quality of service in a sense? You would have voice traffic, right? Video traffic, correct? So these traffics are very sensitive to the problematic links or high latency links, right? When you have more load on the WAN link, right? So how it's going to act? So when you have more load on the link, the traffic will be served based on the first come first serve, right?
Yes.
You are sending some 100 MB of data, right? So how would you prefer it? There is no preference, correct? There is no selective process. Okay, what is important, what is less important, right? Whoever comes first, they will send out. And when the link is highly loaded and there is no more room to accept more traffic, then it will drop the traffic. So that is what the basic phenomena, correct?
Yes.
But with quality of service, when your link is highly congested, when you have a high load of traffic, then the quality of service pitch in and reserve some bandwidth for a specific traffic which needs priority.
Okay.
Right? So that's when quality of service kicks in. So what happens is by default, we have certain classes, defined for an interface. Right? First one is called a network control. Let me annotate. Where is this annotate? Okay. So the first one is called network control. We call it as NC. Let me change the color. First one is network control. Second one is like standard. And then expedited forwarding. No, it's writing 2 times.
Okay.
Network control. It is printing 2 times on your screen, isn't it?
I don't see that.
Okay. Expedited forwarding. Right, standard expedited forwarding. And
You can try
assured
this one if that's the problem.
Oh. Network control. Here also, you see 2 times it is printed, right? Or you don't see anything else?
I just see it once.
Okay. Standard. Expedited EF like expedited forwarding, assured forwarding, and then there is something called premium or priority. Okay. So the voice traffic mostly assigned to the premium class. So what happens is some 10% of the bandwidth is always reserved for this premium class. So what goes in the premium class is voice, video traffic, right? That needs a minimum bandwidth requirement. Without this, you won't see the actual data that you want to send it over voice or video. So that's the reason we go and mention voice VLAN and access VLAN, right? So data traffic can almost adjust to your latency, high latency or packet drops, or imperfect links. They can just adjust. You may see some slowness, but at least you will get the data. But in voice and video traffic, if you have a problematic link, the data will be lost, right? Because it is going to use UDP protocol. So it's not going to acknowledge and ask what is missed and what is received. So this QoS by default enabled on the interface will always watch for traffic coming from voice VLAN. So if you see a traffic coming from voice VLAN, it will put it in the priority queue and make sure the link congestion or a packet lossy link do not affect the voice and video traffic. So that's the reason we divide into data and voice VLAN. I mean access port, right? So whatever you mentioned as access port, they are like data VLAN, and whatever you see a voice will be like IP phone traffic. QoS is not in the CCNA syllabus, so it is part of CCIE. I don't think it is there in the even CCNP. So I'm just giving you a brief like why this voice VLAN has to be separately created, because there is an inbuilt technology in the interfaces that prioritizes or groups traffic based on its criticality.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how your voice VLAN configuration specifically tells the interface prioritize and reserve some bandwidth for the traffic coming in voice VLAN, because it's little sensitive to compared to the data traffic.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Question. Let me see what we have next on the syllabus. I think I lost that syllabus. Got access inter-VLAN access ports. I think inter-VLAN topic is here in the network access. I can just give a start after trunk ports native VLAN is completed. Okay, LLDP and CDP. Okay, we can. I'll just give you a theory of it now, and then we can see the lab tomorrow. Okay, so there are two protocols, right, called LLDP.
Two protocols for what you said, little DP?
1 second, I'll write it down here. You can stop sharing your screen. Let me see if I can, because I see it is printed 2 times.
Okay.
Sure. Where is this one? On my screen. Hello.
Yes.
Where is this? Okay. No. Okay, do you see my white screen?
I don't see it. It says started, but I cannot see. Just a moment. Let me see. I think it's. Let me see again.
Do you see now?
Yeah, now I see it.
Okay, see, there are 2 protocols, okay? CDP and LLDP. Okay, this is for a Cisco standard protocol. Cisco standard, this is open standard. Okay, and CDP means Cisco Discovery Protocol, and LLDP means Link Layer Discovery Protocol. Okay,
these protocols
discovery protocols.
Okay.
Layer 2 discovery protocols. Generally, they are called as discovery protocols. So the word discovery represents or says it is trying to discover something, correct? So what happens is you have devices connected like this, correct? So let's say switch 1, switch 3, right? So from switch 1, so when you are looking at this, right? So for example, you lost access to this device, right? And you do not know what this device is, whether it's a Cisco device or a Juniper device or whether it's a switch or router, you do not know, but you have access to this device. So how you can retrieve information about this device is using this protocol. So if you have enabled CDP on these two interfaces, then this device can read about this device and get the basic information, like the IP address configured on this port. And what model is this device? Is it a switch or a router? Or what model switch or router? Is it 2960 switch or what? And what is the how many interfaces it has? And what is the iOS version it is running? So you can get all this information of this switch 3 by just getting the information from switch 1 itself. So this is the process. This is the work of these protocols. Okay. So CDP protocol is used when you have Cisco devices, all Cisco devices in your network. LLDP is used when you have a mixture of devices, like you have Cisco device, Juniper device, Fortinet, or Palo Alto, whatever, right? It is an open standard, open vendor. So these protocol, you don't basically enable CDP on the interface facing other vendor devices. Like for example, you have an ISP, right? So you have a router, Cisco router, and then it connects to a ISP, correct? So you don't enable LLDP here, because this guy will also be able to discover what is your device. So you don't want to expose your network to someone outside your office or someone outside your organization. So you don't enable LLDP or CDP on the interface facing public or third-party vendors. But you enable CDP, LLDP on towards your internal network, switch, router. So you enable CDP, LLDP here. Just in case you lost access to this device, at least from here you can go and check if LLDP, because it has to connect via link, right? So if you're able to retrieve information of this switch from router, then it means this device is able to connect to the switch via this port. So this is functional, but just somehow you lost the access to the switch via remote, but the device is still accessible from other devices. So you can find out what are all the IP address. So you may not have the data sheet, right, about the switch. So you do not know what IP address this switch has, correct? So these commands or this protocol will come in handy when you want to discover the IP address of the switch, so that you can try. So if the switch is able to discover this device, if the router is able to discover this switch has some IP address, then you can use this IP address to SSH from this router to switch, right? So you can dynamically work in a problematic situation to identify the IP addresses, device model, or iOS model, right? What are the interfaces that this device has? So everything from the remote device, and you can try connect here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Mustafa. I think my laptop is going to die now, so it's just running at 1% of battery. So I can let's wind up the session for today, and tomorrow we will see these protocols in lab.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.